All right, so we are live, Andre. I'm Kalei Poteet. If you don't know me, I am one of the facilitators and founders of the Fleet Connect community. We have a special guest on today, Mr. Andre Antipov. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, 100%.
Absolutely. And he is going to share some really great insights on what he's been working on in the industry. If you are watching this live by chance, just drop in the comment section where you guys are actually tuning in from. We'd love to know where you guys are at. Any questions that you may have, put them in the comment section as we continue to move forward. And I'm pretty sure we can get to those in the future, if not the near future. But Andre, I really appreciate you jumping on with me today. I recently took a look at your LinkedIn, and your content is really on point, really interesting. But it's great to meet you. Before we dive in, we'll just kind of start with your background, the industry trends that you're currently seeing. We'll discuss, maybe some current challenges that you're seeing as well, and where the company as a whole is kind of going in the next month or year from now, and then we'll kind of just finally wrap up by exploring some ways for people to kind of get in touch with you.
Well,
Um, so yeah,
yeah,
just kind of starting off. Can you kind of just share about your background, a little bit about your role, how it fits into the bigger picture at the
yeah,
company?
yeah. Thanks, Kalei, and thank you for having me. Happy to be here. Hi, everybody who's tuning in. Yeah, my name is Andre. I'm the COO of AIST Safety Consulting. And as the name implies, we're providing consulting services to trucking companies. And it's not a consulting in a way that we just kind of come in and tell you what to do, right? We actually handling the safety compliance side for a carrier. It depends on the level of engagement, right? We have different plans, but basically, the highest level of engagement, if we basically take over um, compliance, all the compliance needs that you have in terms of FMCSA. And the company started out as a one person operation back in 2015. I joined already as a COO in 2020. My background before that is related to compliance. I was in cybersecurity, but that was also a heavily regulated field, and we dealt with banking compliance and cybersecurity compliance, so like a very strictly regulated fields. And yeah, so it was a pretty organic move for me to transition into trucking, because yeah, as you all know, this is also a heavily regulated field. And yeah, we've been pretty successful, I must say. We just hiring for our first ever sales position, right? And
Wow.
up until then, we just were developing and growing based on the word of mouth and people just recommending us to their friends within trucking community, and just people looking at our reviews online and things like that. So I'm really happy that we got to that point, and now we're just working on new initiatives, continuing to grow, and definitely, as Kalei mentioned before, trying to make an impact, right? And that's one of the things that differentiates us, and maybe we'll dive deeper into that. That differentiates us from many of our competitors. We're trying to make a difference. As small of a company as we are, we're right now at like a 50 employees, but
Mm.
there are some things we can brag about, that we can maybe talk about a little bit.
Cool, man. That sounds super exciting. Congratulations on the new hire on the sales department. That is a big one. So what does a typical day look like for you, essentially?
For me, thinking of new processes, right? Like I'm checking in constantly with our managers. So our team is structured as two big parts outside of client success, and there's marketing, of course. But there are two big core teams that we have. One is safety team, yeah, right. Yeah, and the other part is legal team, as we call it, even though we're not a legal firm. So, and safety team handles all the preventative work, right? From hiring the drivers, maintaining all the paperwork and things like that, and the legal is sort of reactive team, right? When something bad happens, when there's a crash, a violation, a citation received, that team tries to take care of that. So I'm checking in with my managers, trying to see how we can improve, right? Um, are the old processes working well? So just operations, right? There's definitely a
Mm.
financial part to it, and also there's an initiative there that's really we're focusing on right now. We're working on a custom software web application that hopefully will, when we roll it out, hopefully we'll roll it out at the end of this year. Still, fingers crossed.
Mm.
That might be a huge help to every fleet manager, safety manager, or small fleet owner down the line. The way we build it, because we build it based on our experience, right? What we deal with on a daily basis, what our clients deal with on a daily basis. So that's what my day is, working directly with developers, looking at the features that we want to introduce to that app. So that's what I've been focusing on.
Nice, man. Yeah, we're definitely working on one of those softwares as well. It's definitely. I'm not a coder, but I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
have a new a newfound respect for coders and programmers. But we're making progress, and it's definitely been a very insightful process. Thanks for sharing that. I'd love to dive into some of the major shifts that you're kind of seeing inside of the industry right now.
yeah. Well, I think on a lot of people's minds, one way or the other, that new ELP, out of service rule, English language proficiency mandate that came out earlier this year, that's occupying a lot of minds, especially for our clients, right? Yes, because they do hire a lot of non-domicile drivers or even domicile drivers who
Mm.
English is not their first, native language. So there are a lot of challenges surrounding that. But I think, it's more of a noise, right? There's a lot of noise, and there are numbers
Mm.
coming out like, oh, we had 1,200 drivers were taken out of service for this. But look how many drivers we have overall.
Mm.
It seems like a big number, but relatively speaking, it's not, right? There's more noise, but not a lot of impact yet that we're seeing.
Mm.
But outside of that, obviously a lot of uncertainty that we're seeing with new administration trying to deregulate something or get rid of some regulations. Yeah, it seems like a good thing, but how is it gonna work? What exactly is gonna be cut? Right? Is this gonna be really impactful, or is it gonna be mostly like political moves for publicity? Right? So we don't know.
Mm.
And meanwhile, due to political and geopolitical circumstances, market is really tough, right? And I'm sure
Mm.
you know that firsthand. And that's where people start to think, okay, how do we manage the budgets? Where do we cut costs, right?
Mm.
Unfortunately, um, a lot of carriers go to safety straight, right? Like, okay,
Mm.
'cause it's not as visible, you know.
Mm.
If you don't take care of your truck maintenance, if you don't pay off your loans, right? That's, yeah, you cannot do that. Like, that's
Mm.
immediate impact right away. If you cut safety, right, that the impact is not as visible. As long as you
Mm.
don't get audited, you may feel like
Mm.
you're fine. But what I can say though, we witnessed this like boom within trucking industry during COVID, right? Like, yeah, most of the industries got impacted negatively, but trucking kind of boomed, and there were like hundreds of thousands new companies were opening, and then it kind of crashed, right? And now it's really this like stagnation period almost, where
Mm.
fuel prices are high, no good loads and things like that. So what we're seeing is companies of all sizes, right, who are smart, who kind of stay in the course, right, not cutting every cost possible, including safety, who are kind of, okay, we need to be serious. This is our business, right? We need to just do everything to do properly, right? Those companies
Mm.
survive and continue not only surviving but thriving in this environment. So that's what we're kind of seeing. There's a lot of like uncertainty and panic going on, but underneath it all, there are carriers who are like, we've been through this, right? Not exactly through this, but similar situations. Yes, markets are tough. Everything is cyclical, right?
Mm.
We're gonna go back up, right? And then we're gonna crash, but we just need to stay the course.
Got you. And what's working well for you guys right now, and what's kind of like been the most frustrating part of the business?
Oh, well, working well when we see how we can make a difference, right? Like when our clients come back to us and they're share their success and they
Mm.
thank us, and even if they don't thank us, but we see that company is successful, right? Like,
Mm.
and their safety is in good shape, um, and we made a difference maybe at a different level, on regulatory level, even that's really makes us proud, and we try to push towards that and expand, right? Like we um whenever we see an issue that impacts our job and as uh, you know reflects directly to our customers as well, we try to just jump on it and fix it. Like a very small example, PSP, pre-employment screening
Mm.
program. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's like
Yeah.
this FMCSA system where you can
Mm.
just check drivers' records
Heard the
for
record, yeah.
previous employments and see, what violations they had, like if there are any crashes and things like that, what companies they worked for. And our safety team were comparing those records, and they would
Mm.
find that some violations would appear on the carrier SMS profile, but not on the
Mm.
PSP report for the driver. So,
Really?
and we had a little back and forth with the PSP support, and it was escalated to FMCSA, and finally it got fixed, right? So, those are the things we're trying to do, right? Okay, yeah, it
Mm.
helps us, it helps our clients, but it also helped everybody who is using the PSP.
Correct. Yep.
All right, so and we can see it's really uh, it's a really good motivational factor for us when we can see, yeah, we're a small company, but we're making real like tangible difference
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's huge.
And whenever there's a new relevant regulation comes out and industries ask for comments, we're jumping right on it and we sharing our experience. Like the crash preventability determination program. If
Mm.
you're familiar with that, that's the program that allows you to, have a crash on your record reviewed, and if it meets certain criteria, it can be reclassified and then won't impact your safety record anymore. So that program was expanded at the end of last year, which is a really good thing. We really welcome change, and we participated actively in making that
Mm.
happen. So things like that, right? Really making a difference at any scale or on the smallest scale, right? We helped a driver and it tries giving our agents tips for successfully handling a citation for him. um, those things move agents forward too, right? Like we're really personally involved in everything we do, from
Mm.
like every agent at every level to top management. Like we take every issue personally, and so every win really gives us a big push to go forward. And the second part of the question, to like what's the like most challenging part or whatever, or
Mm.
annoying. It's this disconnect between federal and state level of enforcement, right? Like, yeah,
Mm.
FMCSA came up with all the rules, They have to apply to everybody equally, but each state is different, and even within the state, like every police department would be different, right? Every way station could be different. So, and that's why, there's sometimes you just kind of feel helpless, right? Like, yeah, try to get a
Mm.
hold uh, of somebody at FMCSA headquarters or like division
Mm.
headquarters. Good luck, right?
Right.
Or like, when the company gets audited, auditor could be like, "Oh, I'm on vacation right now, so let's just
Mm.
reconnect in a couple of weeks." But then when they request something, they would like
You're right. They
send you
want
an
it
email
immediately.
on Friday night and say, "Okay, by Monday morning, I need all the information for this 20 drivers." Like, so it's just like this lack of uniformity and
Mm.
frankly speaking, like lack of fairness in many cases. That's
Yeah.
a bit frustrating, but we're dealing with it.
Congrats on making such a big impact, man. Yeah, PSP, that's something that we deal with on a consistent basis. So it's definitely super cool to see that you guys had a hand in how that works, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I guess, which metrics are you most focused on improving outside of just like I guess the FMCSA, hardships or frustrations? Like what metrics are you guys focused on
Like
for the most
we're
part?
we're as a business even.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to expand the customer base, right? That's understandably, and we're trying to sort of break out our niche, so to speak, too, because we're primarily working right now with this like small to medium sized carriers, even though we have quite a few clients that are pretty big, right? But the core client base is those, like 10 to 50 truck companies, right? And primarily we're working with, you know, immigrant founded businesses, right? And they feel comfortable because
Mm,
we speak their language, but we're also really comfortable communicating with FMCSA officials, DOT officials, right? But we're trying to expand, right? We're trying to get into uh, businesses that are, just 100% American based, founded by Americans, right?
mm,
So yeah, we're looking at that, like what our client, client numbers, how are they growing, what does it take us to get additional clients, right? Who's our
mm,
ideal client, right? So those are the factors we're really looking into right now, and that's why, if you look at our social media, that's how we're trying to achieve that, right? We're trying to take a little bit of a different approach, probably similar to what you're doing. We're trying to educate more than
mm.
advertise, right? Like our
Right.
most successful media posts are not about like saying, "Oh, we have a huge discount, come to us," right? We're just doing quizzes. We quiz people on FMCSA regulations, and then we explain why the answers are correct or not, and trying to do it like light-hearted
Mm,
manner, right? So we're trying to show this is what we are, right? And this is what
mm,
we know, and we're happy to share it with everybody. But since all those ads and campaigns we're running are in English, we hopefully will, attract some American companies to our business as well.
nice. Nice. So which ones do you think perform well? Is it more the paid advertising, the content marketing, the more organic, or kind of like outreach?
Well, you can't take away from paid advertising what it brings in, right? Like it just
Absolutely.
expands visibility because it just you know how much content's out there right now, right? It's really
Mm,
hard to break through just organically, right? Like build the
mm,
audience. So paid advertising definitely, just boosting posts and things like that definitely makes a lot of difference. But if you're just doing that and but your content's crap, then you're not gonna go far, right? You have to you have to offer people something that would keep them, right? Not just
Mm,
see it and maybe hate
mm,
it or get annoyed. We get those people every once in a while when we miss the target and maybe reach a person who's absolutely not interested in seeing what we offer and they get annoyed. But
right.
mostly we get like a bunch of followers for every boosted post.
Yeah, people can definitely be mean on paid advertising sometimes. It's super
I
funny.
would never subscribe to a company who just pushes this into my feed. Oh, well,
Yes,
welcome to the world of capitalism and you know social media.
oh, yeah, social media for sure. And is that mostly like LinkedIn ads or is it Facebook?
No,
Or
we're focusing on Instagram right now. Yeah, because
mm,
a lot of our stuff is visual. To be honest, barely touching LinkedIn even. We just kind of doing a little bit to keep it alive, but Instagram is where our main focus is right now, and we also um, about to break into TikTok because yeah, it's just the nature of our clients, right? They're always on their
mm,
phones. They're on the road. A 1 minute reel that's somewhat entertaining but also informative. I think that's kind of the way we're trying to do it.
nice, man. So it sounds like you guys have a pretty solid content team, just pushing and creating some really good creatives right now.
I'll 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 have them watch this. They'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah,
But
awesome.
yeah, they're all very enthusiastic, right? They're really it's really hard to find people and make them excited about FMCSA compliance, right? Like, okay, here's probably one of the driest topics that you can think of. Go with it, right? But yeah, they're trying to find ways.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely got to look at the Instagram. I don't think I've seen the Instagram just yet, just to LinkedIn. So
And
I'm
check it
definitely
out.
gonna hop on that.
We're just starting out. We just I think posted the first episode of uh, day in life of the company,
Mm,
sort of, and we were just kind of playing out real scenarios that we're dealing with, like calling drivers 100 times a day for all kinds of different things.
actually, you, you know what? Actually, I think I did see the Instagram. It is really entertaining, actually. Um, yeah, I think I did take a look at that.
Yeah, and
I'm
check
gonna
it
make
out.
sure
Like
I'm gonna
we
double check
post
it.
contact, pretty frequently there, and yeah, like I
Mm,
said, we're running those quizzes where you can participate in and check your knowledge of regulations in a really short form. Nothing. You're not taking a test of 20 questions. It's just one question. But it's interesting how people like we identify the gaps in knowledge, and that's
mm,
coming back to one of your previous questions. That's one of the biggest issues with carriers of all levels of experience and all sizes. There's sometimes, or not sometimes, often lack of fundamental knowledge about
mm,
safety and how important
right.
it is, what it involves, right? Because to be frank, the new entrant audit that every carrier has to go through,
Mm,
it was supposed to be an informative event, right? And it turned into some kind of compliance, like punishment almost event, right? It's scary. People are scared, like, oh, we're being audited. And it was supposed to be just a check-in of like, this is, yeah, you're just starting out. We want to make sure that you're doing everything uh, you know correctly. We want to make sure you have certain things in place, and if you don't, we're here to help you how to do it. And that's not what it is right now, right? They're trying to kind of catch
yeah.
you, trying to like, if you're missing something, you might get your authority revoked. So and that's why people just pass that, they hire us or somebody else to pass that new
Mm,
entrant audit, and they just trying to push safety out of their mind sometimes.
mm,
And that's a big mistake, and
right.
that's why people just don't know much about safety.
Yeah, safety is super important. It affects so much in a trucking company. Um,
and
a lot.
and
So what's some of the big goals that's coming up? What are you guys focused on moving forward for like the next 6 to 12 months from now?
Yeah, the biggest goal is to get that app on the market, right? We've been working on it. I've been using it internally for a few years now as just internal tool, just kind of ironing out details, and it mostly was built as a case handling tool for our legal team to deal with violations, crashes
Mm,
and tickets and like that. But now we're really pushing resources into developing that other side of that platform, where we're really trying to make it super easy for safety managers, for fleet managers to, hire drivers properly, keep
mm,
documentation in check properly and easily, right? So things like that. So that's our biggest push, and I'm working very closely with our safety team to seek that feedback. We're
mm.
gonna roll it out to our existing clients as a free bonus to see how they're gonna be using it. So we really, that's our big plan, right? Like, I know we're not first to the market by any means, but with this type of product, but yeah, the more the better.
Right.
Maybe
Absolutely.
somebody's doing those things better. Maybe we do some other things better than our competitors. That never scares us. Good fair competition we welcome, right? Because we
Absolutely.
learn from
Absolutely.
them. Yeah, they keep us on our toes. The minute we get comfortable, that's the death, right? You
Yeah.
never get comfortable. You need to innovate. You need to find new ways to keep the client, right? Because honestly, it's not gonna be the cost, right? Like, we not the cheapest. You get what you paid for. There are services that's another big issue that we're dealing with. A lot of safety services are completely based outside of the US, right?
Mm,
And of course, they can offer much cheaper rates, but what's the quality of the service that you get in return, right? That's I'm not saying those are not smart people or anything, right? But
mm,
they're in a different culture, right? They're not as familiar with things that are going on here. And if it comes to an audit, who's going to be there physically to represent you, right? To
right.
support you? They cannot do that. So, but and that's why we're not the cheapest, right? So we need to
Mm.
find different ways to attract clients, to retain clients, and that's obviously the quality of service and the variety of services.
Solid. Solid, man. And I guess if you could solve one major challenge today, what would that actually be?
Hmm. Like in my company, I mean, or in the industry.
Just internally.
Document everything, document all the processes.
Mm.
It just we experienced such a rapid growth. We basically grew from like 2 to 20 people in
Oh.
like 5 to 6 months, and uh,
Mm.
that's just okay. We're just gonna keep doing and doing more and more things, and hiring more people and talk through how we do things, right, and show them. And there's really no time to kind of sit down and say, okay, let's document this, right? When a new
Gotcha.
person comes in, let's hand them this, and everything's going to be written down.
Mm.
That's critical, and we're getting there. It's just a little bit of a process, but I think once we through that, that's going to be a big win internally and the biggest challenge that we overcame.
It's interesting. Is it more so like SOPs and just kind of
Yep,
like
exactly that. Hmm.
SOPs? Yeah, I actually dropped like yesterday. It was a post I did in our private community. It was more about effective team onboarding in the trucking industry, which is just like a 5 minute video, just kind of showing an
Hmm.
operational discussion between like the importance of developing standard operating procedures for those in the trucking industry, whether you're a dispatcher, broker, or just building a team in general, right? So I kind of outlined the essential components of like outbound messenger flow SOPs, including weekly tasks, tools needed, training cadences for new team members, and then kind of just emphasizing the need for tracking systems, onboarding calendars to ensure like a smooth integration of new hires. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's all about the processes, right? Like whenever an issue arises with an individual team member, it's rarely team members' issue, right? Yeah,
Mm.
of course there are people who just they are what they are, and you just need to get rid of those
Correct.
people. But in most cases, it's one of the few things: either there are no tools,
Mm.
is no time, or they just didn't know what to do, right? And
Right.
all those issues are not the team members' fault. They are the
Mm.
management's fault,
Right.
right?
Leadership. Yeah.
Like, did they know what they were doing? If yes,
Mm.
why didn't they do it? Maybe they didn't have time. Well, that means the team is not organized properly. If they did have time, did they have the right tool? If not,
Mm.
let's get that tool. So the, that those are the things we're working on, and it just alleviates the stress from team members too. Like if they
Mm.
know exactly what to do in any given situation, they're just taking it easy, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm cool, I know what to do.
Correct. Yeah. Definitely a big difference between delegation and abdication, which is the reason why I actually did that video. I'll send it to you. It's like a 5 minute video.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of,
yeah, that'll be interesting.
um, but do you think that's kind of like a industry wide issue, or is it just more
No,
kind of
of
unique?
course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh, one of the issues we're dealing with when working with like a larger company, when
Mm.
they already have a safety manager in place and we're just there to kind of support them and help them out, that safety manager, poor safety manager, is playing so many different roles and wearing so many different hats because
Right.
they feel like they need to get more worth out of the person.
Mm.
And it just there's no strict anything, right? Like, okay, what am I today, right? Like, okay, today I'm an accountant, right? Slash safety manager. So
Right.
yeah, that's not the way to go, right? Like, so everybody needs to know what their role is, what they're doing, right? And if it doesn't seem like this falls under my role, what do I do with this, right? So and that's a different kind of side of the coin there, because we also encourage our team members to try to find a solution first, right? And before kicking it over to somebody else just because you don't know what this is, why don't you try at least finding out what this is, right? Like just
Mm.
out of your own curiosity, right? Like just Google something. So yeah, that's like, and I always teach my manager to notice things like that, right? Like, is that person coming to you only with the problems, or is that person adding something else? Like, I think this is what it is. I don't know if I'm right,
Mm.
and sometimes they're not right, sometimes they're right, right? But that's something to notice. That's the person who shows initiative. That's the person who we might want to pay attention to and move up, potentially.
Nice. Nice. Awesome, man. I love those insights. If you guys have any questions, if you're watching the replay, if you're watching live, if you have questions, please put them down in the comment section. Anything about compliance, anything about safety. If you guys need help with auditing, questions at all, just put them in the comment section. Andre, I also would love to know um, if there was anything that you would go back and tell yourself as you were just starting to scale your business up a little bit, or just starting in general, right? What would you kind of tell yourself at that point?
Mm, it's a good question. You got me there. It's really hard to go back. It's just things are moving so fast,
Yeah.
um, and that may be one of the things. Like, okay, just take a step back, slow down, and look at
Mm.
what you're doing right now. Right? Um, um, Take time to think through, like, why am I doing this thing right now? Right? Where is that thing gonna lead me going forward? Right? Like few months from now, if I'm starting this right now 5 months from now, and I'm going to be doing it this way, or am I going to just break the whole system and start over, right? So
Mm.
really try to get that, forward thinking mentality into you. So just kind of slow down a little bit.
Gotcha. Interesting. Interesting. What do you feel like contributed to that exponential growth in the business the most?
COVID was one of the factors, right? For sure. A lot of
Mm,
new companies, many of them absolutely know nothing about what they're doing, right? They're quickly got into some kind of roadblocks in terms of safety, so they come to us. Also, outside of that, we are started quickly showing that expertise, right? Like I said, I got from this one person business who already established reputation in the community. And once we got three, five, 10 important clients with their weight in their community, then they started sending people to us and they're like, oh, okay, you guys know what you're doing, basically, right?
nice. Nice.
It's really hard to become kind of a known name in safety, right? Yeah, you know JJ Keller, right? Like they're this
Mm,
behemoth that dominates compliance and safety. Outside
right.
of that, name some, right? Like it's
Mm,
always a company that deals with safety, but safety might not be their like primary business. You know, Samsara, yes, everybody knows Samsara. Everybody is using it. They have a lot of important safety features. I'm really glad we have a company like that on the market, right? That really thinks
yeah.
through every single thing that involved in what they're selling technology wise.
Mm,
But again, their primary business is technology, right? And everything else is
right.
just a really solid support that they have. But in like what we do, right, that really just working individually, personally with the drivers, right? Taking
Mm,
that time to be on that phone with the driver, explaining things to him. Not many
mm,
people do that. And when people see that the level of involvement we have with everything we do, that's what they start appreciating. And yeah, that's the reputation was, I think, one of the biggest factors in our growth at that time.
nice. Nice. Really making an impact and really providing value
Oh,
into the marketplace for sure.
yeah, and like you
And one
said,
thing.
yeah. No, sorry to interrupt. Like you said, like anytime, any question come to
Yeah.
us, right? We really like answering questions because we're helping you. We
Mm,
know what people are struggling with, so always helps us, right? And even when a client reaches out to us,
mm,
for the first meeting we have with that client, it's not a sales pitch, right?
mm,
We what we do is we take a look at their safety profile, right? We go
mm,
over just go in SMS and start going over violations, crashes. We're looking for repeated violations and things like that. And
mm,
if if they're looking great, we're honest about it. We're like, okay, it looks like you guys are doing really well in your safety. I don't know if you need us at all or if you want us to do like periodic check-ins with you to just review some documents, and that's it, right? Like it's really is a informative consultation rather than a sales call. And yeah, we're always happy to spread the knowledge and share the knowledge.
mm. Great stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, before we wrap up, I did want to touch on one other thing. Um, as far as like AI and automation in the trucking space, where do you feel like that is heading? And what do you think is like the best use of it at the moment?
Oh, it's really hard to say where it's heading. Like it's so
Mm,
unpredictable, and who would
mm,
imagine when like AI only came out as a thing like what years
not even,
ago, right?
yeah,
Few
yeah,
years. And now you can just type in things and it creates like a movie for you, right? So
right.
um, and like views even from founders of AI technology keep changing,
Mm,
week to week. So I think the impact is even hard to predict, but it will be big, right? And
mm,
considering that like current administration seems to be investing a lot of resources in AI, and seeing how Aurora already running,
Mm.
daytime
Right.
trips on autonomous trucks. Um, I think that might be. I don't know if it's the best use right now, but probably going to be one of the major directions AI is going to go in the industry, autonomous trucking, right?
Mm.
And yeah, we're going to be like, there's going to be a lot of skeptics, right? Yeah, there will be crashes. There will be, like, oh, this is not going anywhere. There's no infrastructure. And that's what how people talked about autonomous taxis, right, a while
Mm.
back, but they are out there now, right? And they're
Correct.
expanding, so and they probably here to stay. So I think autonomous trucking will be a thing in within foreseeable future. But the best use is we are trying to integrate AI in our work right now, because just looking at data and providing you with some actionable items right this instant, right? Like, okay,
Mm.
here's my safety profile. Look at it. What do you see? What
Mm.
what have I deal like? What do I need to deal with?
Mm.
Things like that. That's AI can be very helpful, especially with the large fleet.
Mm.
you know you might have better uses for it from your side of things with fleet management and dispatching and things like that, but for the safety, yeah, providing those immediate insights into things that just really hard to keep track of, seeing
Mm.
that big picture and analysis of the data. You have a lot of data, right? Like, you have a lot
Mm.
of drivers. You may see some critical things like, okay, yeah, this driver had two crashes in the last 3 months and needs to go. But outside of that, like, okay, how many, like, which violations keep repeating? What do we do with them? Right? Is our maintenance program working? Um, if not, why not? Like, what can we do? So, like, basically feeding that data somewhere other than you just looking at it, right? Or you just
Right.
running some spreadsheets that give you some graphs, right? Those graphs need to mean something
Right.
to you.
Right. Yeah.
And not
Hmm.
like, many of us are not statisticians, right? Like, we cannot really get meaningful insights from that data always, right? Outside of just hiring some consultancy company.
Right.
But that's what AI is for.
Gotcha. So almost like being able to kind of parse that data, have some type of knowledge base to kind of bounce it off of, and then be able to kind of score based on those data points.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
That's
Like,
awesome.
what do
Is
I
that
do? Hmm.
right? And then give you kind of like a, almost like an assessment, or like a growth plan. Like, this is what you
Yep.
need to focus on. This, and this. That is awesome.
Hmm.
Is that what you guys are working on with the software? Or is it something completely different?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have it on, like, as prototypes in
Mm.
just Google Sheets, where we just plug in data from carrier safety profile, and AI just kind of spits out observations based on it. So that's a prototype. Of course, we're going to be building AI into the app at the larger scale, and that would go, again, going back to hiring process. Yeah, AI could just look at drivers' MVR and PSP report and say, well, maybe not the right person for you to work in your company, and this is why. So, and of course, a person could do that too, and person would need to review what AI suggested, but it just helps speed up the process, make it more efficient, and catch things that a person might miss.
That is brilliant, brilliant insight. Because we've been building out AI infrastructures around the driver recruiting process, right? So we have a way to kind of score drivers based on that. But that is a really great idea. I'd love to share some insights with you around that as well.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I mean, is there anything else that you would love to leave the audience? How can people get in touch with you if they have questions around compliance, or how can people reach you?
Yeah, find us online, aistsafety.com. Go to our Instagram, instagram.com/AIST um, underscore safety. That's where we at. Give us a message. We're also on Facebook. Yeah, contact at aistsafety.com. Shoot us email. So basically, many ways to reach us. There's a form on the website if you're an owner operator or a small carrier or any size carrier. There's a contact form where you can actually make an appointment and get that free consultation. Yeah, like I said, any question from any channel, our team pays attention to those and tries to answer them to best of our abilities.
Awesome. That was great, man. Thanks for sharing these insights.
Oh,
Once we've
yeah,
compiled all of our podcast conversations, I'll send over a summary. It should be really, really interesting for you. You guys heard it first. Andre Antipov, um, doing really, really great things in the industry, and super excited to have had you on and just be able to kind of share this. This has actually been a very insightful conversation. I'm just hearing what you guys have been doing with the PSP and the driver qualification part of it as well, right? So, and then what you guys are working with and how you're looking to integrate AI into that process is super interesting as
yeah,
well. So, thank you again.
yeah. Thanks,
Um,
Kalei. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.